Hello. This is Pick 3 Kansas coming back at you with another video for some pick 3 digits, some hot combinations to play for wherever your location may be. I am just gonna go over Kansas pick 3 though. That's mainly what I talk about on my channel, but the methods and the strategies that I use honestly could be used in all pick 3 drawings, no matter where you live. I think that they would be pretty effective. So I gotta say, today's gonna be a celebration because what did we have today? Let me tell you, we had a jackpot, $500. So if you remember, before I go over the numbers that I've missed since I've been absent the past few drawings, today is March the 3rd. The video, this video is going to be for the numbers that I recommend playing for March the 4th, but we'll get onto that a little bit later. But so for today's mid drawing, we had 4, 5, 6, and for the evening drawing, we had 1, 6, 9, a straight hit. That's a jackpot. $500. So this is the list that I shared on the 1st of the month of all of the March numbers that I think have potential for hitting this month. What I did is I did a 030 rundown, which is basically March of 2020, and these are the combinations that I pulled out of it, and that is the first hit. I gotta double check and make sure there wasn't. So let's just go ahead and skip on to the days that I've missed. So, and I promise I'm gonna start writing in pen. I know that pencil is a little hard to see, but don't pay no attention to that because all we're gonna focus on is this bottom few right here. And then we'll move on to our rundown. So on the 1st of March, we had 449, and I do not see that there. And for the midday draw. For the evening draw, we had 562. Ooh, that was a close one digit off. And for the next day, March the 2nd, we had 631. See, I should have, this has potential there, but it was definitely not a hit. And for the evening draw on March the 2nd, we had 918. And I see a 978 right here, but nope, there was no box even for that one either. For the 3rd, which was today, for our midday draw, we had 456. Ooh, and I was gonna play 567. Not that would have mattered, but I thought about playing that tonight because typically they say series numbers will always follow a series number. And I did backtracking for Kansas, and I saw that one time there was a series number followed after a series, but other than that I didn't see any, and I only went back till the 1st of January of 2017, so maybe before that there might be more, but I didn't want to scroll that much because I was already getting tired of the scroll. So yeah, this was a jackpot hit. If anybody played 169 here in Kansas, you would have made $500 off a $1 play. I imagine that you would probably have played more than that because, I mean, that's kind of how you up your chances as far as when you're trying to aim for hitting a jackpot or a box hit. But anyways, let's move on to the numbers. So I'm going to actually leave this out because I want to use these numbers this is what I recommend. I'm going to use these numbers here along with whatever combos I see in my rundown to choose whatever combinations I personally am going to play. So I guess, hold on, before I move on, I wanted to show you something, explain a little bit about this jumbled mess. So what I have here is this is just my way of tracking. I track the day, the midday, the evening. I also track the V tracks for each of them. The 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, that is the most common sums for V tracks. So what I do is I write the date, and then I write my letter, I don't know what you would call that, chart. So A is 1, 2, 3, B is 4, 5, 6, and C is 7, 8, 9. When I do that, so we had for 449 was BBC. And then, so I put that to the left of the date. And then to the right of the date, this BBA, that is 562. And I feel like that's just kind of an interesting way to track digits as far as like, you know, because it keeps the numbers down as far as the amount of combinations, and it can really help you narrow down, or at least it does me. These ones I accidentally, I switched them on accident. So CAC was for 918, and then BAA was for the 631. And then 456 was BBB, which is pretty cool. And then 169 was ABC, which is also interesting. So that's just how I like to track my dailies. And then I have to the right of the combinations for the ones that were drawn, I have the sum total. So I'll put 4, 5, 6. I got a 15 here, and then I've got 5, 1, 2 as the V track. And then this next column I use to add the total, or the sum, I'm sorry, the sum of the V tracks, which is 8. 5, 1, 2 would be 8. And then from the 7 to 11, that's where if you have, I block out when it's like this one was 15, this one was 12, that one was 3. I shade those in because I'm not gonna really I'm gonna pay attention to them, but I'm really just more interested in how these like 7 through 11s pan out. But the empty spaces are just as much a part of the pattern, I guess you'd say. So then I have, I have the total for the V track here, which was 8. So I put the 8, and then I come over to the 8th spot and I put an 8. So you can see the last 2 middays, and then a few more ago, 8's been hitting there. And then this would be my evening here. I hope you guys can see this. 169, which was our jackpot, and we got a total of 16. And the V tracks for that are V1 is 2, V2 is 2, and V3 is a 5. Add those up, got your 9, moved over to the 9th spot, bam, there she is. That's just how this is how I'm gonna continue to track. I feel like it helps me out a lot, and maybe it will help some of you out too if you're also really into tracking your pick three numbers. So anyways, let's move on here. If I can find where I'm looking for. So this is an example here. Okay, so we had the 4, 5, 6, which was drawn today's drawing, and this is just to show you that the next drawing, which was for the evening, was 169 or 196, 169. So a lot of the times, this is my tic-tac-toe grid here, 169. A lot of it, I've noticed that happens sometimes. And then I've also been paying attention to the fact that if you go, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 through 8 seems to be where all these winning combinations are at least touching in or a part of. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So I've been kind of doing that. See how I have this boxed in right here? I was like, pay attention to these combinations that are in this box. And what do you know, we had, only one of them was outside the box, even though that one was still inside the box, but it wasn't touching our combination. I only count it if it's touching. I only highlight them if they are touching. So there's just that. So then since that was full, I moved on to this page. And this is the page that we're going to use, well, that I already used. I've got my 3 tic-tac-toe grids, and I've got my 317 rundown. So let's go ahead and do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6. I feel like, these areas here, maybe even down. I'll just do this one. I feel like this is going to be your hot zone. I'm going to call it a hot zone because this is most of the time when you do have a hit in your 317, which is almost all the time. The numbers will be touching in this area somewhere. So it's good to, play off of those, but don't always only play off of those. So So let's look over here and see if any of these are going to stand out to us. Well, I see already. Um, do I have a 7? I see this is kind of cool. 700, 700, 00. Okay. So I would definitely, since we have a 700 over here for our monthly numbers, I don't see it in our tic-tac-toe grids. I would go ahead and write that down as a combination that has potential. And let's see here. Do I have a 545? 304, 671, 6. Wait a second. That one didn't just hit though. Let me just double check here. Sorry. 631. Okay. 631. So that hasn't been played yet. But if you notice right here, we've got, for this 671, we've got 167, 167, 167. Ooh, 167. So, and I played this as 671, so I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to call that as a definite number to play. And then what do we have? 731. I don't see any that are popping out to me. Okay, yeah, see how the last one, 731, that one has potential. Okay. And then I've got a 624. 624, 624. 713, that's gotta be 713. That's 317 backwards. I'll leave that one up to you. And plus, we have 731 already, so play that as a box then if you're really wanting that number. 303, 303. Don't see any zeros hardly at all over here. 563, 563, 563. Okay, I'd say that's a good one. 852. Oh, geez, right there, right straight across. We're doing that one. I want to let you know, if anybody ever has any questions, you can always email me. I provide my email in the About Me section, I think, but if you can't find it, it's Tanuperu, TANUPERU at iCloud.com. If you ever have any questions about anything in regards to the Pick 3 lottery, feel free to email me, or you can always just comment down below and I will answer as soon as possible. So, plus I need a little more interaction. Come on now. 416-204-909. Ooh, there's a 90. 109. Thought I saw a 901. 108. Let's see, 109. 719. I don't know, guys. 746. 764. That's a good one. I like that one. I'm also looking, instead of paying attention to just these numbers, I'm looking over here for any, like this 000 is standing out to me a lot. And the fact that we've had previously the 456 and then we had a 169, I think that a 0, usually they say that 3s and 6s are close to zeros, so maybe tomorrow we'll have like a 307 or something like that, which is not here, but I'm gonna still write that one down because it's 307 and 307. See that? That is kind of a red flag, I guess you'd say. 307. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do one more. So I've got 300 here. I had 700, and since, you know what, let's go ahead and make it the 300. I like that. 300, 300. It has potential. Okay. So anyways, thank you all for watching my video. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully my techniques and strategies will help you win some money. And as usual, happy number picking. Bye.